Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana and I am a third year international business student in the Netherlands. I'm going to tell you the top things you need to know before studying or before moving to the Netherlands. Netherlands can either make you or break you. For some it's the best decision and for others it's not. My advice to you is to do a lot of research before moving here and also to be prepared. Not only financially, not only preparation for the university, but also mentally. Without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing we're going to talk about is accommodation, and this can also be the most important thing. So start looking for accommodation in advance, and in advance I mean 6 months or 3 months in advance, because otherwise if you wait for the last moment you're not going to find an accommodation, and without an accommodation you cannot do anything. So basically you need an address to register at in the Netherlands, otherwise you cannot open a bank account, you cannot pay your tuition fees, and you cannot pay health insurance. So it is very important to have an address and to have an accommodation. Because there is such high demand and low supply, accommodation can be very expensive. So be prepared for that. You can look for accommodation on Facebook pages, Facebook groups or websites. I will link some websites in the description so you can check them out. If you're looking on Facebook, please keep in mind that you can find a lot of Dutch onlys in the description, because those are basically Dutch students looking for other Dutch students to join them in their student house. If you do find an accommodation, then please remember to ask the landlord if you're able to register at that address. Because the thing is, in the Netherlands, there is a maximum capacity of people that can register at one address. In case you cannot find an accommodation, please do contact your university, because some of them have campus or they have contacts. So for example, my university, they have a campus and you can move in for 1 year, and after 1 year you need to move out. Also keep in mind that most of the rooms or studios in the Netherlands are unfurnished. So if you're coming for an exchange of 6 months, it doesn't make sense to get an unfurnished room. So you're not going to buy furniture for 6 months. So keep that in mind, that most of them are unfurnished, but obviously if you're doing a 4-year study, then you can buy your own furnitures. Last thing about accommodation is the housing allowance. So if you're a student or you have a low income in the Netherlands, you can get a compensation to pay your rent. So I will put a link in the description and you can check if you meet all the requirements in order to get this compensation. So let's say you can get, if your rent is 500, you can get like 200 euros of compensation, and then you only pay 300 euros. The second thing is about public transportation. So public transportation is very good arranged in the Netherlands, because you have train, tram, bus, metro, and you need a OV chip card in order to check in and check out every time you travel. So if you're traveling by bus, for example, you have this card and you need to add money. Remember to check in and check out every time. If you forget, you can get a fine during your trip. So do not forget to check in and check out. If you have a Dutch nationality, so you're from Curaçao, Aruba, Bonaire or Sint Maarten, for example, then you can apply for Duo, and that means that you can get free transportation either during the weekend or during the week. You have the option to choose which one you want. I have free transportation during the week, so from Monday to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, so weekend, I get 40% discount. and it's the same the other way around. So if you have the weekend for free, then you have 40% discount during the week. If you don't have a Dutch nationality and you cannot travel for free, then you can go to the NS website and you have a bunch of subscriptions where you can pay an amount of money per month and you can still travel for free or with discount. If you have the subscription, then you can travel with 3 other friends and they will get 40% discount. Or if you don't have the subscription and your friend does, then you can travel with your friend and get 40% discount. And you can basically do that at the machines at the train stations. If you have questions about the OV, the chip card, whatever, there is a service point at almost every train station throughout the Netherlands. However, I do recommend you to get a bike, either buying one or renting one, because it's very cheap to have a bike in the Netherlands. You don't need to pay parking, and just remember to get a lock so it won't get stolen, and do not use your phone while biking, otherwise you will get a fine. Language and culture. So Netherlands is a pretty diverse country and English friendly. It has a proficiency of 71.45% and is the country with the highest proficiency in English in all of continental Europe. So, I mean, there's people coming from all over the world to this country and we all have an accent. It is okay, it is fine to have an accent. I mean, my English is still not perfect and I'm studying international business and I have colleagues from all over the world and their English is not perfect. We all have an accent, so you don't need to worry about that. You can survive in the Netherlands by only speaking English, because the Dutch people will understand you and you can communicate by only speaking English. However, I do recommend you to learn at least the basics of Dutch to know how to greet or in case of emergency. Regarding culture, Dutch people are hardworking, disciplined, well organized, private people, and they pay attention to the smallest details. I think culture is very important and you need to do research on the differences between your culture and the Dutch culture. Because for example, I'm from Curacao and people from Curacao can say that Dutch people are not as social as we are, or as open and warm, welcoming as we are. They are more closed and private. While on the other hand, I have a friend from Bulgaria and he says Dutch people are very social, so nothing compared to the people from Bulgaria. So it all depends on your culture, and yeah, you just need to do a lot of research and see what the differences are. Another thing, if you come from a culture where looking straight into the eye, so eye contact is disrespectful, then when you're sitting in the class and a teacher is staring at you and looking straight into your eyes, it can be confusing for you. So look into the differences between your culture and the Dutch culture before moving to the Netherlands. The next thing is about health insurance. So health insurance is mandatory in the Netherlands. If you live here, you need to have a health insurance. When I first came here, I didn't know that I need to pay health insurance from the minute I step out of the plane. So I came July 2019 and yeah, I had to look for an accommodation, register, open a bank account and all those stuff. So I applied for a health insurance from the 1st of September. But then I got a bill of 200 and something euro for the month of July, August, and September. So keep that in mind, that you need to start paying from the minute you step out of the plane. For health insurance, you also have health allowance, and this is a compensation for people with low income or for students. So you basically get an amount of money from the government to pay the health insurance because it's mandatory, right? So I will put the link in the description. You can check to see if you meet all the requirements and to apply for the health allowance. Let's say your health insurance is 110 euros and you get 100 euros from the government as the health allowance. So you only need to pay 10 euros from your pocket to pay the health insurance. So it's really good, and I suggest you to apply for the health allowance. Okay, for my people in Curacao, I don't know if this is like the other countries, but I'm from Curacao and I know what it's like in Curacao and the Netherlands. So if you're from Curacao and you're coming to the Netherlands, please go to the doctor, go to the dentist, get all your medicines, go do all those things in Curacao before coming here. Why? Oh, also the dermatologist. Because all those things, I did them for free in Curacao. And then when I came here, you need to pay for everything. And everything is expensive. So, last year, January, I was almost dying because I had stomach ache, and I went several times to the doctor and they keep giving me paracetamol. If you have stomach ache, paracetamol. If you have chest pain, paracetamol. If you break your hand, paracetamol. If you have whatever, paracetamol. Paracetamol is the only thing they will give you. I was crying, laying on the floor at the GP, the doctor's office, asking for help, and at that point they sent me to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and after a month I got a bill of almost 300 euros. Again, insurance didn't cover that money, so I had to pay that money myself. So keep that in mind, that all problems you have, if you're from Curacao, go do all that things in Curacao because you need to pay for all that in the Netherlands and it's expensive. Next topic is about education, and there are different levels of education. So you have high school, University of Applied Sciences, and universities. For example, I personally am doing University of Applied Sciences, and this is where you learn to apply theoretical knowledge on real life situations. So please do your research on which level you need to do in advance. Check which facilities your university has. So maybe you have the possibility to learn Dutch for free. Or my university has the LGBTQ community. So if you're from the community, you can join, and there are activities or group chats for the LGBTQ community. Start preparing before the first day of school. So do not go to the first day of school and think, oh, we're just going to meet each other and meet the tutor and say goodbye and go to home. You're going to have classes from the first day of school, and I didn't know about this. I thought we're like, oh, hi, I'm Diana, I'm 21 years old, I come from Curacao, and that's it. No, you're going to have classes and you need to be prepared for those classes in advance. Maybe you had to read some chapters or make an assignment before that class on the first day of school. In my opinion, buying books is a waste of money. I don't think you need to buy all those books because you will get PowerPoint presentations, materials, PDFs. Even if you need the book, you can go to the library of your university and borrow the book and scan the chapters that you need. Or you can find the books online, or you can get summaries online. So there are a ton of options that is not wasting money and buying the book. Maybe for law you really need the law book, and in that case you can buy that one book, but it's totally unnecessary to buy a list of books. I have a bunch of books sitting in my room and I just need to sell them because I didn't even open some of them. A tip very important tip. Do not procrastinate. Okay, the queen of procrastination is saying this. I know I procrastinate a lot, but do not procrastinate, because it's not like, I don't know how it's in your country, but in Curacao you can just read the stuff one day before the exam and you can still pass. It's not like that. Try to make a planning and stick to the planning. Don't wait for the last minute to start studying, because then you will have 10 chapters to study and it won't work to study 10 chapters one day before the exam. So do not procrastinate, and also try to balance the personal life and the school life, because you can easily find yourself studying on a Friday evening, on Saturday, or on a Sunday, and then basically you won't have personal life anymore because you will be studying or going to school every day. So try to do some time management and manage your personal life and school life. Last thing about education, try to see if you can get a student loan or a student grant. Again, if you're from Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire, St. Martin, and you have a Dutch nationality, then you can apply for DUO, which is a student loan or student grant. Even if you cannot get a grant or a loan, you can still find a job in the Netherlands. So there are a lot of companies such as H&M, Primark, Starbucks that I know that hire English speaking staff. So you don't need to speak Dutch in order to find a job in the Netherlands. And finding a job is easy. It's not like finding an accommodation. So you can easily get a job even if you don't speak Dutch. Next topic is about budgeting. So make a budget with all your income and your expenses in order to have an overview of what you're getting and what you're spending. Make sure to always have some money in your savings account or some spare money in case of emergency. So let's say you were biking and you were biking with your phone and you got a fine and you need to pay 100 euros fine. Or you went to the hospital and you need to pay 300 euros because your health insurance didn't cover that money. Try to shop as cheap as possible. If you're planning to study here, you can get a student discount almost everywhere. So for example, Nike, JD, Zalando, or the cinema, which is called Pathé, you can get a student discount. Sometimes it's 6%, sometimes 10%, but always ask if they have a student discount. If not, I get these in my mailbox every week. So these are basically flyers or books from companies that have discounts. So this one, for example, Ethos, 1 plus 1 gratis. Buy one, get one for free. Or Action, they have week sale every week, so you can see what they have in discount this week. Studying in the Netherlands is a great chance to explore Europe, and it's very cheap as well. So you can start by exploring other cities in the Netherlands, but then expanding to more countries in Europe. Do not go back to your home country without exploring, because you're going to regret it. Last but not least, stay focused on your goal. So along the way, a lot of things can happen. You can get homesick, you can feel lonely, and yeah, you just need to wear your horse blinders to eliminate any potential distraction and focus on your goal. So if you're from Curacao, for example, you know that the weather here is different. It's not the same as your home country, especially during winter time. It's raining every day, it's cold. You're not used to that, and you will start missing your family and friends, and you can get the feeling of going back to your home country. But you just need to remember what is your goal and stay focused on that goal. Do not let anybody or anything distract you from your goal. With that being said, we have come to the end of this video. If you have any questions regarding studying in the Netherlands, please feel free to leave them in the comment section and I can answer you, or I can make a new video about it. And if you're already studying here and you have some tips, comment that as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!